lot of questions about how do I make bolts or how do I make springs for the final project or for the final exam. So I'm going to go through quickly how to do that in Creo. So let's start out by a sketch. And I'm going to start out by making a bolt. So if we want to make a bolt, I'm going to do a revolve, which looks something, a sketch like a T shape, or half a T, I should say. And then put a center line in there. And maybe I want to make this a little smaller, so I'll modify this and drag this down and make it a little bit smaller here. Okay, so maybe that would work. Okay, now I'll do okay that, and then I can do a revolve. But so that's kind of the shape of our bolt. So maybe that's a bolt, and then we need to put threads here on this side of the bolt. So to be able to do that, we kind of need it to revolve around this thing. So we need to do a revolve, but it also needs to move up the bolt as well. So it's kind of a spinning motion and a linear motion at the same time. And there's a name for that. It's called a helical sweep. A helical sweep. So to complete one of these helical sweeps, the first thing you need to do is draw where the threads are going to occur. So I'm going to create a new sketch. And let me rotate this just so we, yeah, that's a better way to look at it. And let's say my threads are going to go from the top maybe to close to the bottom. They don't have to go all the way to the bottom. So my threads are going to start here and then move down to here. So that would be where the threads are going to go. I forgot, you need to put in a center line too. So in the sketch, so you have the line and the center line. So those are the two things that you need. And underneath sweep, with this little arrow, there is a helical sweep button. So I'm going to select that. And with that selected, it means that we're going to start here and move down. You can see that by the arrow. And then you go into sketch. And to sketch this, really all you need to do is at the start here is to draw one tooth of the thread. And I think for a regular screw, I think this is 60 degrees, and I want to make sure that these two are equal to each other. And I'm not sure what this will be. Maybe 0.1. We could say 0.1 there. And then that's our thread tooth. Now when we select OK, what it's going to do is take that tooth and move it downward, but also twist it around that center line that we originally put in. So there we have screw threads. And with that, let's go back to our front view. This distance, this pitch value, is the distance from peak to peak here. So it's that distance in between there. So by making this bigger, the screw threads become further apart, and by making this tighter, the threads become closer together here. So you can measure this and see what it is. So that is how you would do a screw thread there for your bolt. Now let's see the question about creating a spring. So it's the same sort of idea. What we need is a rotation and a linear movement. So I'm going to do a helical sweep, and we always start out by drawing the trajectory first. So I'm going to start out by drawing it up this direction. So it's going to start here and end here, and we can make this whatever we want. Let's say 5. It's going to be 5 inches long, and let's make the diameter or the radius here, let's say 0.25. So there we have our spring, kind of where we're going to start and where we're going to end. And always remember to put a center line in. So we're going to put a center line in and then select OK. Now where to go? OK, so it's here. And now what we're going to do is underneath sweep, we're going to do a helical sweep. And see, the arrow indicates that we're going to start right from down here and it's going to go up. So we're going to sketch. And right at that start point there, I'm just going to draw a circle. Something like that. And you can dimension that circle. That would be the diameter of the wire of the spring, and select OK. And now we have the pitch. The pitch value, remember, is the spacing in between here. And then right now it's set at a 1/2 inch. But if we want to bring that down, we could do 0.25 inches or even 0.1 probably for a really tight spring there. So there's how you create a spring using the Helical Sweep tool. Now in your final project or in your final exam, you can use McMaster-Carr. So if you already have 5 parts for your final exam and you need to do some bolts, so if you already have 5 unique parts, you could use this online hardware store called McMasterCarr.com or McMaster.com, and you can find bolts. And if you go to scroll down here, you can find the right size that you want. So maybe I want a 1/4-20 bolt. So that's a 1/4 inch in diameter and 20 threads per inch. That's what that means. And different heads, you know, they have all sorts of different type of heads. Maybe I want a thumb screw. And maybe this one looks good, a knurled stainless steel low profile knurled head thumb screw. And the length that I want, maybe I want it 1 inch. Okay. And if I go into product detail here at the bottom, you have this engineering drawing, but on this drop down here, you can get a 3D model. And I always recommend 3D step for Creo. So 3D step, and I'll select save there, and it saves to my my downloads there. So to open it up in Creo, I'll go back, file, open, find my downloads, which are downloads, my downloads are there. And then I'll say all files. I want to see all files here. And there's our knurled thumb screw right here. So let's go ahead and open that. We're going to make a new part out of it. So it's going to create this, it's from the step file, it's going to create a new part. And say OK. And hopefully it comes in. Take a second. There we go. There's that nice thumb screw there. That's 1/4-20. And so you could use this in your assembly. Now, the problem with step files is you can't edit them. Like, you can't change the length or anything like that. They're kind of a dummy solid. But what you can do that might help is add planes. So if you want to add a plane that goes on the head here, and then maybe an axis that goes down the middle, you know, those are all options that would help maybe. Let's see if I can get this to go down the middle there. Okay, so I have a plane and an axis now, and now I can use this in any of my assembly files. So again, if you already have 5 unique parts in your final exam, and you need to use more bolts, if you have bolts in yours, you can find them, download them, and then use those parts as well. So go ahead and do that if you like.